Stories Behind the Stars has put together a brochure so that people can visit Arlington National Cemetery and specifically explore the World War II fallen graves at Section 12. Find this brochure if you visit the Stories Behind the Stars website. Over a 2-year period, we had around 200 volunteers help us to write stories of all 8,000 plus World War II fallen buried at Arlington National Cemetery. And so we made this brochure so people can start exploring the cemetery and read the stories at their gravesite. So this is covering Section 12, which is here kind of in the middle of the cemetery. And we specifically identified 5 specific grave sites. I'm going to be visiting those today. We will be able to show you how you can use Find a Grave app on your smartphone, pull up each of these stories, and we'll also be able to visit some of the other graves that are close to these. We will continue this at Arlington National Cemetery. Behind me is a road that people use when they're coming to Arlington National Cemetery. If you're at this point, you're going to want to take the first left to go into the parking lot. If you're coming in on foot, that's the next entrance gate after that. This is the pedestrian entrance to Arlington National Cemetery. I'm going to be going through the visitor center where they are going to check bags, so make sure you don't bring any banned items, weapons, alcohol, drugs. I'll start the video again on the other side. Just exited the visitor center. If you're going to go visit Section 34 to see World War II fallen, you might want to take the tram. It'd save you some time. I'm going to go visit Section 12 today, so I'm going to be walking there. Once you pass the tram boarding area, the first road is called Eisenhower Drive, and we're going to follow Eisenhower Drive till we get to the McClellan Arch, which is on the boundary of Section 12. I finished walking on Eisenhower Drive. We're going to switch over to McClellan Drive. We're going to go up this road here through the McClellan Gate, and Section 12 is just over here on the left. I'm stopping at this convenient map while I'm on McClellan Drive to point out where we came from and where we're heading. Here was the visitor center, and we walked past the tram. We went down Eisenhower Drive. We got to McClellan Drive. Here we are at the McClellan Gate, right over here. So we're going to continue up. Section 12, as you can see, is pretty extensive. There's graves all along here. My experience is that most of the World War II graves are over in this section here, closer to this road. So that's where we're going to go first, and we'll start looking at the graves there. I've also mentioned that the other section that has a high concentration of World War II fallen is Section 34, right over here, and that includes the USS Serpens Monument. Over 300 men who were killed during an explosion of a ship at Guadalcanal are honored there. Each of them has a story. We actually have a separate video that details how you can use that. So let's go up to the upper portion of Section 12, and we'll start looking at some World War II fallen graves. We've just left McClellan Avenue, and we're going to go to Grant Avenue. And here's a scan from the northwest corner of Section 12. Now that we're at Section 12, we're going to use this brochure that was created by Stories Behind the Stars to find some of the World War II fallen buried in Arlington National Cemetery. So we're right here at this corner right here, and we're going to find, I don't know if all, but at least some of these that are highlighted over here. You can also use the Arlington National Cemetery app, which is where these pictures came from. And if you do that, there'll be a geo overlay that as you're walking along, it'll follow you, and it can take you to exactly the location of where you're going to want to go. So if you were to use the Arlington app, which is not the same as the Find a Grave app, which we'll be using shortly, you would put in Colonel Gustav B. Gunther, plot 713, and you would see this on your screen on your phone, and it would follow you as you go to this location. So we're going to go into this section over here and visit some of these World War II fallen. So this is the Arlington National Cemetery app. In the lower left you can see Find a Grave. We're going to do that first to find the first grave. I've entered his name there, and now we're going to press search. There he is right there. Get directions. Okay, it's showing us where we are and how close we are to the grave, and we can actually start moving. I'm going to use this for a little bit to show how your location moves as you get closer. As you can see, my location of where you're at is getting closer to where the pin is. We'll rejoin it when we're a little bit closer. Okay, we followed it as far as the road goes. Now we're going to go into the cemetery. There it is. Found it just that easy. So I pulled up the Find a Grave app. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to press Memorial Search. I've typed in the first name and the last name. This is an uncommon name, so that's probably would be enough. But if you're dealing with a more common name, it would be helpful to put in birth date or death date, which you should be able to find off of the gravestone. And you press search. There it is right there. And there's a photo right there. I'm going to scroll down to a part where it's going to have a link. Right here it says Fold 3 Story Page, Soldier Page. You click there. You go down to here where it says Stories. And at that point, I'm going to press this one here. And here we go. We've got the story about Gustav Gunther, and anyone that comes to visit his gravesite can read it right here at his gravesite. Quite a fascinating individual, having served as an attaché during the 30s throughout Europe and working for the OSS during the war, and being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or maybe the right place at the wrong time. When he was at church, he was killed when a V1 bomb hit the chapel. So, interesting individual. So you're looking here at his gravesite, and I put some flags at just the nearby grave sites of World War II fallen, and these are just within, 4, 5, 6 different rows and columns, and there's like 25 of them. So I'm just going to take a quick pic of each headstone so you can look at them. But if you're here at this gravesite, if you're here at Arlington National Cemetery, you could pull up on your smartphone a story about each one of these World War II fallen. What I would recommend that people do is when they come to Arlington, especially if they have an interest in World War II, is they come to section 12 and they just walk through the headstones and just stop randomly at some of the graves. Maybe if you see one that has a unit you're interested in, or a date or a name that draws to your attention, and pull up that particular story and read about that World War II fallen individual. I think this would be a particularly wonderful activity for young people, to have them come in and instead of playing Pokemon on their smartphone, that they come in and start going through the cemetery, going from headstone to headstone, and reading stories about people about their age. You notice that one of the people that we looked at today was still a teenager when he died. I hope that this video is helpful, and I hope to get some good feedback of people that have actually used it and get their comments on their experience.